Genius, demigod, cheat, showstopper. Diego Armando Maradona was it all. But beyond his legend lies the story of a man who was mostly human. This is the legend of the legend himself. Born to a boatman in Buenos Aires on October 30th, 1960, Maradona's career is defined by the World Cups. The youngest footballer to play for Argentina at the age of 16, Maradona failed to make an impression in his debut World Cup game in 1982, Spain, as Argentina lost 1-0 to Belgium at Camp Nou, a stadium he would call home after being sold by Boca Juniors to Barcelona for a world record fee of $5 million. But things would soon fall into place as their next encounter against Hungary, Argentina won by a comprehensive 4-1 margin, with Maradona scoring a brace and helping his team progress to the second group stage. Italy and Brazil awaited next. Argentina would go on to lose both games, which led to their exit from the tournament. The 3-1 defeat to Brazil was a bitter pill to swallow, especially for Maradona, as he was shown a red card for losing his temper and kicking Batista. It was an unceremonious end for a young talent who had caught the attention of the footballing fans with his dazzling set of skills. While the 1982 World Cup in Spain showcased Maradona as the newly minted emerging talent, the next edition of marquee event in Mexico is where the footballer stamped his authority while encapsulating everything that Maradona was about. The 5'5" forward looked like a beast that could do ballet. He scored 5 goals and provided as many assists on his way to World Cup glory. Maradona was just everywhere. He was involved in 10 out of the 14 goals Argentina scored, and it was no cakewalk, as he was fouled a record 53 times by his rivals, always proving to be a handful. In his first match, he fed 3 assists as Argentina beat South Korea by 3-1. In the following match against Italy, Maradona scored his first goal of the tournament and the match ended 1-1. What followed was the quarterfinals against England, which remains to this date one of the most controversial games in World Cup history. The 2-1 win over the Three Lions showed the best and the worst of Maradona. There was brilliance, lawlessness, and a mentality that endorsed the idea of winning at all costs. His first goal was an infamous strike which is popularly known as the Hand of God. Hitting the ball with his hand while trying to deceive everyone that it came off his head stunned the world. In his own words, he described the goal as a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. While he went down in infamy in England, the footballer gained deity-like status back home in Argentina. Mere 4 minutes after the controversial goal, Maradona made a 66-yard sprint and dribbled past 5 England players before beating Peter Shilton in the goal to complete an iconic brace. The goal was voted Goal of the Century in 2002 as part of the build-up to the 17th edition of the World Cup. Turning up in a similar fashion for the semi-finals, Maradona scored twice to beat Belgium. And although Maradona didn't find the net in the final against West Germany, he set up Jorge Borruchaga to script his name in the record books as Argentina became the world champions. Diego Maradona was the protagonist of the show, a watershed moment for the magician as he single-handedly guided his country to his second World Cup. His dominance was unprecedented, and this massive victory in Mexico looked much like a tale of the celluloid. In the intervening years between Mexico 86 and Italia 90, the Argentine helped Napoli conquer Italy. Like fine wine, Maradona was getting better with each passing year. However, the same could not be said about the defending champions. Injuries plagued the squad and they looked pretty much ordinary on paper ahead of the flagship event in Italy. Maradona suffered an ankle injury early in the tournament, while other notable names were too sidelined. The defending champions got off to the worst possible start, losing to Cameroon in their opening game. Next up, they faced Russia in a must-win tie. God's hand made a return to football as Maradona stopped a header by the opposition from going in by preventing it with his hand. The Russians were furious, and introducing the fair play flag before every game made little difference. Argentina won the match 2-0, while Maradona limped off the field after 70 action-packed minutes. Argentina secured a 1-1 draw against Romania in the final group game to secure their place in the knockout stages. A mouth-watering contest was on the platter between Argentina and Brazil, and here too Maradona did not disappoint, as he went past 3 midfielders and threaded a pass through 3 more to set up Kaninga. A solid finish took Argentina to the quarters where they faced Yugoslavia. It was a dull affair, but Diego Maradona still made the news by missing a spot kick. The game eventually went to penalties, and Argentine goalkeeper Cocochea saved the final 2 penalties to set up a semi-final clash with Italy. Following another uneventful game, a second penalty shootout saw Argentina hold their nerves as Maradona dispatched the ball past the net gently, securing the white and blue spot in their second successive final. But unlike most finals, the one between Argentina and West Germany lacked spark and brilliance. It was more of a dull game where both sides failed to break the deadlock before Andreas Bremer scored the winner in the 85th minute. Argentine players weren't amused as they were protesting the sendings off while Maradona was in tears, having failed to win it for a record second time after coming so close. In the 4 years between Italia 90 and the next marquee event, Maradona sustained several setbacks, majorly due to his cocaine addiction and fitness. Thus, the 4th and eventually final World Cup for the talisman is known for all the wrong reasons. USA 94 was supposed to be the redemption for the Argentine. After several bouts of controversy, especially run-ins with the cops, criticism over drugs, and fitness issues. Ahead of flying to USA, the 33-year-old had told the news media, "I'm tired of all those who said I was fat and no longer the great Maradona. They will see the real Diego at the World Cup." Argentina thrashed Greece 4-0 to kickstart their campaign, and Maradona found and mentioned in the score sheet. The goal was a spectacular one, but Maradona's celebration overshadowed it. He ran towards the nearest camera, eyes bulging, as he screamed and screamed. There was joy, pain, and agony. In the next game, the South American side came from behind to topple Nigeria. Argentina were top of the table, but hold on, this is where the story takes a turn and the wheels start to come off. Group leaders Argentina was set to face Bulgaria, and in came the news of Maradona testing positive for 5 variants of ephedrine, a stimulant banned by soccer's international governing body. And just like that, arguably the greatest footballer on earth was abruptly removed from the tournament. Having served a 15-month ban for consuming cocaine just 2 years earlier, few doubted the credibility of the test. The world came crashing down for the biggest superstar of his generation, and for his faithful. The setback was huge, and the fairy tale was over. A Maradona-less Argentina suffered defeat at the hands of Bulgaria, and suddenly the side slipped to 3rd spot. The 2-time world champions just couldn't recover from the shock of their captain walking into the dark, as they faced a 3-1 loss to Romania, and it marked the end of their campaign. Maradona's appearance was restricted to just 2 games, and his goal against Greece incidentally turned out to be the last of his career. For some, it was karma. There was a sense of justice. For some, it was a tragedy, while many believed it was poetic. Had Argentina won the coveted trophy in Mexico without Maradona? Was it fair for the star player to score a goal with his fist at the '86 World Cup? Who could ever tell? One thing is for certain though, there was no one quite like Diego Maradona.